Welcome back to Turning Hard Times into Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor, and I'm really pleased to have with me Amir Adnani. Amir has been with us several times in the past, but for those of you who may not know him, he is the chairman and director and founder of Brazil Resources, and since 2005, he has served as chief executive officer, president, and director of Uranium Energy Corp. That's a New York Stock Exchange AMAX-listed company that he also co-founded. Well, under his leadership, Uranium Energy Corp has become one of North America's newest uranium-producing companies. Amir is highly regarded in the junior resource sector. Doug Casey, who was on the show a few weeks ago, has talked very highly of Amir, has him listed as one of his top 10 CEOs in the junior sector. Well, we're going to be talking to Amir about uranium energy, but today we want to talk to him about Brazil Resources. We want him to tell us a story. Trades on Toronto under the symbol BRI. You can buy it in the U.S. as I have under the symbol BRIZF. 96.3 million shares outstanding at $1.40 earlier today in U.S. money. Gives it a market cap of around $135 million. Thanks for joining me, Amir.
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me on the show.
Really good to talk to you. Always good to hear what you're up to. BRI, that is Brazil Resources, the symbol BRI, has increased its total resource base to over 13 million ounces of gold. I mean, very impressive number of ounces in the ground with the acquisition of the Whistler Gold Project up in Alaska. When did you acquire Whistler, and what has BRI done with the project since that acquisition?
Jay, you got to just just go back in time and picture what was going on last July or August, right? So if you think about it, we had the Greek crisis. We had July and August, incredible pressure, downward pressure on the price of gold. And I remember talking to folks and people talking about how we're going to see $900 gold, right? That's the environment we were in. You look at the TSX Venture Composite Index, it was just getting killed, red everywhere. And it's in that context last July that we announced the acquisition of the Whistler Gold District. Looking back in hindsight, I mean, it really looks like we picked a low. At the time, we had no idea. Frankly, we had some hesitation and doubt as to, expanding and picking up even more assets. But we stayed quite true to our theme. And the theme was that at the bottom of the gold cycle was going to be, or what seemed like the potential bottom of the cycle, of course, this is in hindsight now, that these were the best times to acquire projects like Whistler. A project like Whistler, which is really a district, had over $50 million of work done, 70,000 meters of drilling. And I mean, you're picking up these things at the bottom of the cycle for cents on the dollar. And so to appreciate this acquisition, it's important to appreciate how bloody the market was last summer, and in that context, acquiring something of this size. And since then, adding to it, modeling the drilling that was done that hadn't been modeled yet into a compliant and independently verified resource report, what we call 43-101 resource reports. And, we don't call it that, the commission calls it that. But anyways, really adding value to these as well.
Well, I remember sitting in the office with you up there in Vancouver, I think about this time last year, Amir, and, as you say, that was just blood in the streets, and essentially you were saying, I don't mind this, I rather like this, and one of the reasons, I think, is because you have a partnership with Brazil's most influential investment group. You've really aligned yourself with people with deep pockets, people that have the ability and the financial resources to allow you to take advantage of this kind of a market. Now, gold exploration in Brazil is heating up as well. Ross Beatty's new venture in Para State, Brazil, which is where you're operating, he's there. You got a lot of activity down there. Agnico Eagle is there. You've got El Dorado Gold. What is there about the Para State in Brazil that is so attractive to the gold mining sector, Amir?
What's happening here, Jay, is that historically Para State in the north has been the largest in this particular area that we're in, where all these projects and companies you mentioned are in. The area is the largest alluvial gold mining region in Brazil, the third largest in the world. Something upwards of 30 million ounces of gold has been mined from mom-and-pop operations, mining the very kind of rich saprolite or soft rock without really any heavy equipment or drilling or modern exploration techniques to drill deeper to find the source of this gold. So it's an area that is clearly endowed and very, very rich in gold mineralization, very lightly explored. And historically, this area has had poor infrastructure. And because it's actually one of the poorest states in all of Brazil, the government has poured quite a bit of investment into improving infrastructure, building highways, bringing in power lines. And so now you actually have a paved highway connecting basically central Brazil through Pará State all the way to the north with power line. Our main project there, the São Jorge project, has basically sits 2 kilometers away from this paved highway and with the power line coming right onto the property. So it's incredible what's happened, Jay, and the reason why there's all this interest around this state and this area is the combination of factors, combination of how lightly explored it has been with modern exploration techniques, but a very proven and substantial history of artisanal gold miners, and to some extent they're still active today, coupled with this new investment made by the government in infrastructure, and lastly, this devaluation with the Brazilian real, their currency, has devalued almost to an all-time low to the U.S. dollar. So it's become so much cheaper to do business in Brazil. Assets are cheaper. It's cheaper to hire people, to acquire things. And that's why you're seeing smart money really come in and grab various pieces and try to be involved in this area and in Brazil at this time.
Yeah, and you got the possibility then. I guess what you're looking for is the mother lode of that, all that alluvial placer gold that's been. So if there's the potential then, I suppose, for finding something very significant, because you don't have companies like Agnico Eagle and some of those big guys going in there unless they think there's something fairly significant, the potential to find something there, right?
There's really big potential here. Again, it really is. It's top. It's one of the biggest and most significant areas for artisanal mining in the world, and that's the reason it's drawing the attention of some very noteworthy people in the gold business. And you look at even our project, the São Jorge project in this area, 55,000 hectares. Only 10% of the project has been explored so far, but already just in the 10% explored, that's where we've established the 43-101 resource that we have on the project. In the inferred and indicated categories, we've got 700,000 ounces in the indicated, 1 million ounces in the inferred, very good grades, 1.5 gram per ton in the indicated and 1.1 gram per ton in the inferred, all basically a surface type of resource that would in the future be a target for open pit mining. And again, this still has so much exploration upside. And really pleased to see that our dollars go so much further down there now, Jay. It used to be $1 got you 2 Brazilian reals. Now $1 practically gets you almost 4 Brazilian reals.
Wow.
So you also, again, are really benefiting from the currency devaluation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's really exciting, and you have a pretty aggressive drill program, I suppose, going on down there that investors can keep their eyes on drill results, Amir, coming forward in the next several months.
Well, we haven't launched a drill program just yet, mainly because again we were busy coming on the heels of the Whistler district acquisition and really assembling our 43-101 resource base and portfolio, and we're just coming off of that. We had 2 separate 43-101 reports that were issued over the last 2 months. And so as we look ahead for the balance of this year on our gold portfolio, we really want to de-risk our gold projects, particularly the ones in Brazil, through additional permitting work. And what we see is that projects that are able to show both a combination of existing resource and upside, but that can also show that they can be permitted, really become more valuable in the marketplace. And we feel right now it will be less expensive and also more value add to do some additional environmental work, permitting work. And in fact, we've submitted an application for our São Jorge project to become a mining concession from exploration. And so this type of work will be valuable in our mind. We're continuing to keep an eye on other gold acquisitions we can make, Jay, because we really feel that the window is still open. We've had a great run here for gold, but we're still in the early stages, in our opinion, and there still are some very interesting acquisition targets, and we want to keep building that gold resource where we can pick up projects for, again, cents on the dollar when you consider what amount of work was done there before, the replacement value of prior exploration work.
Now you have something like 13 million gold equivalent ounces all told. The big increase, of course, came with the Whistler acquisition. Do you plan to do some things with Whistler? Some exploration up there, Amir?
Yeah, same thing. Again, the work that was just wrapped up with these new reports that we put out, Jay, there's definitely some very good recommended work program that we're assessing right now. There definitely is. There's some 6 different targets in addition to the 3 resources that have been defined on this area. It's 170 square kilometer area, Jay. So wow. It's a whole district. I mean, the size is truly remarkable, and we own the whole thing. So there's definitely some targets for follow-up. There's definitely some opportunities to do follow-up drilling on the resources that have been established that could increase the existing resources. And so we really have some really important and valuable follow-up work that could be done at Whistler.
Well, that's good, and also keeping some powder dry so you can pick up some more good assets as well. You know, Amir, you picked up some good assets down there in Brazil. Another company that fell upon hard times, you acquired them, and that's part of the portfolio that you have down there. But you also picked up a uranium but a uranium play, a very interesting one in the Athabasca region, the western end of the Athabasca Basin. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, and this was a great deal of serendipity, Jay. As you know, this is a situation where we acquired a company with gold assets that we very much liked in Brazil, and this company had a non-core project or property, which happened to be a uranium property of all things. And at the time in 2013, you know, it was the project is situated in western Athabasca Basin of Canada, and at the time there was some emerging interest in this area. And boy, in the last 3 years, this area, there's just been so much momentum, some additional number of discoveries that have been made, 2 or 3 different companies that now have a combined market cap of over $1 billion wow. in this area. I think the combined market cap of companies in this area in 2013 would have been, you know, a fraction of that, maybe a couple of $100 million at most. And so there's been some incredible amount of interest, some serious investments that have been made by sovereign companies out of China General Nuclear, some recent investments announced last week. And so we're situated in an area where, again, there's been some important discoveries being made, high grade, and some of the highest grades in the world, in fact. Some people describe this area as having the same potential significance to the uranium business as the Persian Gulf has to the oil business.
No,
so, some very compelling situation. And our partner here is a French multinational, basically one of the biggest nuclear companies in the world. Areva owns 25% of our property.
Yeah. Well, that's very impressive. Amir, we're going to have to leave it go at that because we're out of time. But Areva, and it's Brazil Resources, folks. Be sure to follow up. Go to the website and check it out. We'll be talking to Amir from time to time, and I'll pass on information to you as it becomes available. Thank you so much, Amir, for being with us today. Look forward to doing it again sometime soon.
Thank you, Jay. That was great.